The movie starts with a vulture pecking at a hand, which is then choked by a man named Riddick. He's stuck on a desolate planet with a severely injured foot. He manages to set his broken leg by wedging it between two rocks, but his screams of pain attract the attention of creatures that resemble wolves. These creatures launch an attack on Riddick. In an attempt to escape, he dives into a water pit and holds his breath, waiting for them to leave. Once they're gone, he emerges from the water, takes a moment to rest and adjust his leg. But suddenly, one of the wolves that was still there attacks him from behind. In a quick response, Riddick throws a piece of metal to distract the wolf. As the wolf chases after the metal, Riddick puts on his goggles and spots the rest of the pack in the distance. Riddick further tends to his injured leg and begins his journey across the barren desert. He stumbles upon a cave where he finds water and quenches his thirst. While exploring the cave, he notices some steps, but is interrupted by the sound of wolves approaching him. As they near the cave entrance, a peculiar creature from the water attacks and kills one of the wolves, causing the rest to flee. When Riddick turns around, he comes face to face with the same creature and manages to fend it off. He escapes unscathed and travels a great distance, taking refuge among the rocks to protect himself from the dangerous creature. This is how we learn about Riddick's story and his arrival on this planet. Riddick used to reside in a place on his home planet where he killed the reigning king. As a result, he was crowned as the new king. However, his reign was filled with anxiety as he had numerous enemies who wanted to kill him and take over the throne. This was due to the rule that the person who kills the king becomes the new king. One day, the woman living with Riddick attempted to assassinate him. However, Riddick was too smart for her and ended up killing her instead. He knew that a man named Vaku was the mastermind behind all this because Vaku aspired to take over Riddick's throne. Riddick proposed a deal to Vaku. He offered to make Vaku the king of his realm if Vaku would guide him to a place known as Furia Planet. The map to this place was lost, and only Vaku knew the way. Vaku agreed to Riddick's terms and sent him to what he claimed was Furia Planet with his trusted men. Upon arrival, Riddick soon realized that this was not Furia Planet, but a desolate planet devoid of any human life. He understood that he had fallen into Vaku's trap. Vaku dispatched his allies to this desolate planet with the mission to eliminate Riddick. They all launched an attack on him, and Riddick fought back fiercely. In the midst of the battle, Riddick fell from a mountain. Seeing this, all of Vaku's allies assumed that Riddick had perished. Afterwards, they all departed from the planet. Left alone, Riddick had to adapt to survive. He drank water from a pond and caught fish for sustenance. Despite not wanting to remain on this barren planet, he had no choice but to persevere. He took in a wolf cub, intending to raise it as his pet and companion. Over time, Riddick began to introduce the venom of the local poisonous creatures into his system, as well as into the wolves. His goal was to build immunity against this venom. This meant that if any of these creatures were to attack him or his wolf, the venom would have no effect on them. This was a part of Riddick's survival strategy on this harsh and unforgiving planet. One day, Riddick returns to the same pond inhabited by the creatures. He methodically eliminates each one of them before leaving the area with his wolf. As days pass, Riddick's wolf matures. One day, the wolf brings Riddick an object resembling a ball. Upon seeing this, Riddick realizes that there are other humans on this planet. Following the same path, Riddick discovers a human-made space station. He ventures inside and finds it deserted, but he does find some food. Along with the food, he finds a magazine containing an article about him. The article states that a substantial reward will be given to anyone who can deliver Riddick's severed head. After leaving the space station, Riddick notices ominous black clouds gathering in the sky, signaling an impending rainstorm, a bad omen for him. He returns to the space station and activates a machine. He scans himself using this machine and sends a message to all the planets in the universe announcing his presence. This way, everyone would know that Riddick is here. Riddick was aware that if he wanted to escape this planet, he would need to summon help. He was confident that his call would be answered. As expected, a spaceship arrived after some time. The people aboard were searching for Riddick, not with the intention to rescue him, but to kill him. Upon landing, the leader of the spaceship secured his ship and removed its power nodes, storing them in a safe. He instructed his crew to keep a vigilant watch over it. Riddick, known for his cunning, would seize these nodes and escape with the spaceship if given the chance. These power nodes were essential for the spaceship's operation. When the crew arrived at the space station, one of the leader's trusted men found a note. The note warned that if they wished to survive, they should leave a ship behind and depart from this place. Elsewhere, the leader of the group had a girl captive on the ship. He orders his crew to release her. As the girl begins to flee, the leader shoots her from behind, ending her life. Riddick was observing all these events unfold. The leader announces that he's aware of Riddick's presence and that he's been secretly watching him. He declares, "You'll have to confront me, and I won't leave this place without your head." Hearing their leader's words, his crew expressed their disapproval. They believe their leader is making a mistake because they understand how cunning and dangerous Riddick is, and they don't want to engage in combat with him. However, they are compelled to follow their leader's orders. They install large cameras near the space station to keep tabs on Riddick's movements. After some time, they discover that another spaceship is heading their way. The leader, who didn't want additional people to interfere with his mission to kill Riddick, was intent on claiming the reward for himself. It's revealed that the leader was dispatched by none other than Vaku, who had a vendetta against Riddick. Despite these revelations, the incoming spaceship lands and parks near the space station. The leader of this new group is named John, and he has a female companion with him. John makes it clear to the leader that he has no interest in his affairs. He insists on being allowed to carry out his own tasks. However, the leader isn't one to easily agree. Being a selfish and greedy man, he takes the power nodes from John's spaceship and secures them in his safe to prevent any potential trickery. Only after taking these precautions does he permit John to stay. The leader always wore the keys to his safe around his neck. One night, the surveillance camera that the leader had installed was damaged by Riddick and his wolves. Despite John's warnings, the leader decided to inspect the camera with his companions. John cautioned him, suggesting that this could be a trap set by Riddick. However, the leader ignored John's advice and proceeded. Upon reaching the site, one of the leader's companions fell into a trap and was killed, followed by another companion. The leader then witnessed his third companion being dragged away by Riddick into the darkness. This series of events greatly distressed the leader. John was aware of what was happening, but he kept his promise to the leader and refrained from interfering in his affairs. In a desperate situation, the leader approaches John for assistance. However, he behaves poorly towards his companion, who retaliates by punching the leader. John reassures the leader and agrees to help him, but on one condition: he wants Riddick to be handed over to him for a single day. After that, the leader can do as he pleases with Riddick. It becomes evident that John has a unique motive for capturing Riddick. John then takes the first step by shooting Riddick's wolf and attaching a tracking device to it, knowing that the wolf would lead him to Riddick. They follow the wolf and find Riddick in a cave. There, they discover the lifeless body of one of the leader's men hanging. Riddick had set this up as a diversion, and John quickly realizes this. While they were at the cave, Riddick had made his way to the space station. They rush back to the space station, but Riddick is nowhere to be found. They deduce that Riddick must have stolen the power nodes from the safe. The leader, however, is reluctant to accept this. He argues that the key was around his neck the entire time. Filled with apprehension, he opens the safe to check. Simultaneously, they harbored a suspicion that Riddick might have planted a bomb in the safe. However, when the leader opened the safe, he found all the power nodes intact. This time, they left the safe open. Seizing this opportunity, Riddick swooped in, stole the power nodes, and concealed them underground. When John discovered this, he was infuriated. John then suggested contacting another ship via radio, but due to the inclement weather, he was unable to establish communication. After a while, Riddick appeared before them, having discarded his weapons. He proposed a deal. They give him a spaceship, and in return, they get the power nodes. He warned them that time was running out as rain was imminent. With that, Riddick departed. As Riddick was leaving, the leader attempted to assassinate him from behind. In a sudden turn of events, Riddick's wolf lunges at the leader, knocking him down. The leader retaliates by flinging the wolf away. Witnessing this, Riddick rushes to his wolf's aid. However, one of John's companions intervenes and injects Riddick with a sedative, rendering him unconscious. The leader then kills the wolf and they take Riddick captive. When Riddick regains consciousness, he finds himself confined in the space station, with John seated across from him, inquiring about his son. It is revealed that John's son was among the group that had brought Riddick to this planet. Riddick, however, remains silent and warns John of the impending danger. Unable to get any answers, John surrenders Riddick to the leader. The leader, armed with a large sword, prepares to decapitate Riddick. Just as he begins to swing the sword, it starts to rain, causing the creatures buried in the ground to emerge. Unsettling noises echoed throughout the space station, instilling fear in everyone present. Suddenly, they were attacked by the creatures inhabiting the area, resulting in the death of two of their companions. Witnessing this, John realized that their only hope for survival was Riddick, who possessed the power nodes necessary to operate the ship. John was about to free Riddick when the leader intervened. Despite this, John managed to unlock a chain on Riddick's foot. Seizing the opportunity, Riddick used the chain to kill the leader. He then proposed a deal to John. He would hand over the power nodes in exchange for a ship. John agreed to Riddick's terms. Together, they set off on a bike to retrieve the hidden power nodes. However, John's bike broke down en route, forcing him to ride with Riddick. They eventually reached the location of the power nodes. As Riddick was retrieving them, he revealed to John that he hadn't killed his son. He explained that John's son had died while trying to kill others to save his own life. While Riddick was sharing this information, they were ambushed by one of the leader's companions. Riddick managed to kill the attacker, but not before their bike was damaged. Left with no other option, they had to make their way back to the space station on foot. Subsequently, a horde of creatures descended upon them, launching an attack. Riddick was injured in the onslaught. Seeing this, John took the power nodes from Riddick and proceeded alone. Riddick, after tending to his wounds, stood his ground and battled the creatures single-handedly. However, a particularly large creature was on the verge of killing Riddick. Just then, a ship arrived and began firing at the creatures. This counterattack was orchestrated by John, who had returned with the ship as per his promise. He managed to save Riddick's life and handed over the ship to him. With the ship at his disposal, Riddick was finally able to return to his home planet. Initially, Riddick apprehends the man who had brought him to this planet on Waku's orders. He holds a gun to the man's head, demanding information about Waku's whereabouts. Riddick's sole intention at this point is to eliminate Waku. However, the man refuses to divulge any information, leading Riddick to kill him. Subsequently, the man's widow reveals to Riddick that Waku has ascended to the throne and is now the reigning king. The narrative of the movie concludes at this juncture, leaving the audience in suspense about Riddick's next course of action. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.